thing that we don't want foreign criminals in the country?
Well, the idea that deporting people for rough sleeping isn't objectionable, I mean, that's pretty grim. And what we're doing with that other aspect of the legal changes that you've talked about is essentially extending to European nationals the same system that actually everybody from the rest of the world has been subjected to for a very long time. The Home Office has published about 500 pages of changes to the immigration rules today. In pretty standard Home Office practice, they've done that about 2 hours before Parliament closes, with no explanation of those changes. And the real big problem there is that they've missed an opportunity to actually inject some fairness and some justice into the system, but they've gone for the sort of more headline-grabbing changes, like, you know, making it more difficult for people with criminal records to come here, instead of dealing with things like...
What's wrong with that? I don't want foreign criminals in this country. What's wrong with trying to prevent them from coming in?
Well, I think the changes that they've rolled out to the immigration rules are much wider than that, and it's probably going to take a few days, even for government officials, to understand what's in those changes. There's a real opportunity that's been missed here to make it easier for people who live here, who are law-abiding, to stay here, to renew their visas, to deal with skyrocketing fees, to stay with their families and things like this. But what we've seen instead is that the Home Office have gone for the headline-grabbing approach, like, you know, we're going to make it difficult for people to come here.
I'm sorry, but how is it a headline-grabbing approach to put EU citizens on the same status as the rest of the world?
Because there's 514 pages of rules that have been changed. And those include things like making it difficult for people who have been homeless at any point to stay here, so making it much easier to deport people. Yeah, but you're going off the subject again.
I want to know whether you think it is right for EU citizens to be put on the same basis as people from the rest of the world.
I think, as the child of people who came from thousands of miles away from the European Union, that we do need fairness in our immigration system. But what the government's chosen to do is level down rather than level up. So what they've said is we've been treating people from outside the EU pretty badly for a very long time.
No, they haven't.
We're now also going to treat European nationals
they've said that they don't want people to come into the country who've been in prison for more than a year. Entirely fair. That's not levelling down or levelling up. It's just being sensible. Or do you think that we should be letting lots of criminals into the country from wherever they come from?
Well, that's a complete mischaracterization, right? If you are found guilty of a crime, whatever that crime is, and you serve your sentence, whether it's 6 months or 12 months or 18 months or whatever it happens to be, and you're found by your community and by your society to no longer present a threat to society, you've been rehabilitated, are we really saying that people from whatever country they are in the world, and bear in mind that this would one day apply to British nationals as well, can never leave their country again, even to visit somewhere else?
Well, it does apply to British nationals who want to go to the United States. If you've committed a serious criminal offence in this country, you're not allowed into the United States. It's the same for most countries have rules like this.
And we would say that that's completely unfair for British people who want to go somewhere else, who've committed a crime but served their time and been rehabilitated.